I'm going to show you how to draw over a template image of an object that is more mechanical. In this case, we're looking at a portion of a game controller. So I just want to show you some techniques that can help you to create something like this in a relatively easy and somewhat quick way. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just make sure, which I already have set here, that the stroke is at black and that the fill is at none. And if you're just opening up Illustrator and you're at the default where you've got black and white in these palettes, then you can go ahead and just notice this little none swatch. You can click on one of these color swatches, like here's the fill swatch. I clicked on that to bring it forward, and then I just choose none. So I have stroke, black, none, fill, and I'm just going to start tracing over these basic shapes. Now we're going to put a clipping mask on this before we finish, so I'm going to go beyond the bounds of the artboard for creating some of these shapes that get cut off or cropped off at the edge of the artboard. So I'm going to start by using the pen tool. And I'm just going to click and let go of my mouse button and then drag over, just follow the outlines. I'm going beyond the edge of the artboard and I'm just creating this basic background shape. All right. I notice that right now I have my snap to grid on, and I'm going to turn that off, and that'll just help me to use these tools a little bit more smoothly. Okay, so now we've got another little shape here that we can do. Just click and set these anchor points. For these, because they have corners, we're not going to drag out handles for these because we want our paths to be straight. So I just want to show you, from what we were doing previously, we were creating these more organic curving shapes by clicking and dragging out these handles. So we're clicking and dragging, holding the mouse button down as we drag to drag out these handles, and we're creating these more curvilinear shapes. For something like this that again is more mechanical or geometric, we don't need to drag out those handles. We're just going to click, let go of the mouse button to set that anchor point, click, let go of the mouse button to set the anchor point. We're not dragging the handles out. So we're creating more, I would call these rectilinear shapes, okay? Organic here versus rectilinear. All right, so, but we've got a few more. So we've got these little triangular shapes down here. So again, just click, and without dragging out any handles, we want those corner points. We want to close the path though. So we want to come around to our first anchor point and just click directly on our first anchor point to make a closed path. Now this one that goes to the edge of the artboard, I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to go off the edge of the artboard because we're going to crop that out later or mask it out later. All right, the reason that I have my fill set to none right now is so that I can still see my template image. I don't want to lose any part of my image and forget to draw something. So at this point, the rest of these white areas, which represent buttons on a controller, are curved shapes or rounded shapes. So I'm going to go to my rounded rectangle tool. And in order to create these, I would say these are like crescent shapes. I'm just going to, not the rounded rectangle. I don't want the rounded rectangle, I want the ellipse tool. Okay, ellipse, because the ellipse will make a circle. If I hold Shift and Option, Shift will allow me to create a symmetrical, perfectly round circle as I hold the Shift key down and drag the mouse button out. If I hold Option at the same time, it's going to drag that circle from a center point. So that's not entirely necessary to hold Option, but it's however you work best, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and position this so that I get the size of my curve. And then I'm going to make a copy of this shape. So I'm going to hit Command C to copy, and then Shift Command V to paste in place. That pastes the copy directly over the original. And I can click and drag that off a little bit. And now I'm going to make this larger. So again, I'm trying to mimic this crescent shape or follow this crescent shape. And now what I'm going to do is use the Pathfinder, the minus front button on the Pathfinder. It's going to cut out the top circle from the circle below it. Remember, the circle that's sitting on top is the one that I created last. So select both circles, you choose minus front, and now I have this crescent shape. And so now what I can do is just copy and paste these, and I'm pasting in place. You don't have to do that. You could just do Command C, Command V, and it'll offset the copy. It's whatever works for you. All right, so I think what I want to do is I don't like the way that these are aligning. So let me actually start down here. I'm going to move this down here and drag that over. All right, Command C, Command V, and I'm going to rotate these a little bit. All right, so even though on the original drawing these buttons are not symmetrical, I know that this is a machine manufactured object, so I'm going to keep mine all the same size. So I'm going to deviate a little bit from my drawing, and that's okay because part of what you're doing with this digital vector version is you're going to refine your drawing. So you don't have to stick exactly to it. This again, you're making this look more mechanical and machine made and precise versus the drawing, which is made with a marker and by hand, and it's not exactly, it's not exactly accurate. Okay, so now I'm going to create this white shape down at the bottom. I'm just going to create a circle, holding Shift to make sure that my circle is perfectly round, and combination of positioning it and resizing it to fit to make sure that it conforms to the template below it. And I'm going to copy that again, Command C, Command V, and I want to copy that and make this other part of this circle, the smaller one that's kind of adjoined to it. Okay, so these two circles are overlapping, and what I want to do is join these together or merge them together, unify or unite them. So I'm going to click on both of these circles, and then I'm going to use my Unite tool in the Pathfinder window. Now I've got this little sliver here that I want to fill in because this whole thing should be white. So I'm just going to go ahead and make another shape. It doesn't matter exactly what it looks like or what the contours are because all the stuff again is going to be masked out outside of my artboard. So I'm going to hold Shift to select this shape that I just created and the one, all of these at the same time. Unite. All right. So I've got a couple other circles to make. So I'll just go ahead and create those. And I've got this kind of reflection here, or that I want to also create. So let me copy and paste in place this circle that I just created, and I'll make this reflection using the same technique that I used to make the buttons.